Please for absence. Councillor Ford, Watkins, Erin Loader, ACO Alison Reid and Councillor Ellsbury. Declarations of interest, is there any? No? Announcements, I got no announcements apart from the appalling weather. Dates of the HR Equalities Committee, somebody move?
I'll move, Madam Chair.
Second?
Second,
Thank you.
Chair.
Thank you. The first item is the firefighters' pension schemes. I believe Andrew Jones has taken this.
Yeah, I'll pick up on this. Thank you, Chair. Good morning, members. Just a very quick one. This, as you're aware, we have an obligation to report to yourselves of all circulars, etc., that we receive in respect of the firefighter pension schemes that we administer. This report is clearly an indication. I think it states that Alison prepared the report, but there have been no further circulars. So all of the circulars on Appendix 1, they're greyed out. They were reported into the July meeting, and there's been no further circulars since then. Okay.
Go to the next item, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's great.
I understand we are having further reports in the next
You need to
HR
change.
Yes.
meeting.
It's a date as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? No? Okay, then thank you. We could go to the next item, the review of training. And Sean, I believe you've taken this?
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Chair. Morning, Chair. Morning, members. This report is detailing the last year's performance in Cardiff Gate. It details a structural review that we completed, a management structural review that we completed last year and have implemented around the senior management team in training school. It also looks at the performance and the impact on our instructors, detailing a number of courses and instructor hours that delivered annually, and there's a comparison around the actual attendance of courses of our firefighters in the organisation with the capacity. It also looks at the PFI element with our partners in Babcock, and looks at how over the last 2 to 3 years we've evidenced real value for money in the way that we're planning and forecasting our training programs in Cardiff Gate. Obviously open to questions on all 3 of those areas, and in particular the last one on the value for money and the PFI element.
Any member, I was a bit concerned about the decrease in the attendance of the courses. You know, the amount, do we know why they were decreased?
Yeah, Chair, yeah. So the attendance against capacity, as it states in 2.27, it's increased this year the number of courses to 8.7 from the previous years. However, there was a decrease in course attendance, and that means we're being more targeted. And to use an example of driving, we've got a driving instructor with 2 candidates or 2 students on either a 1 or 2 week course. What we've been looking at with the Section 19 implications from the Road Traffic Act starting in next year, being more targeted. So we're looking at, rather than 2 students there, we're having 1 student who's face-to-face. So we're increasing the amount of student learning just for this period leading up to the implementation of the legislation. Test cases, just trialling it, really looking at how we're going to deliver it and what best benefits it. So yeah, it does look like the attendance is decreasing, but we're being more targeted to our students and increasing the amount of hours we're giving them.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? What
Yeah.
are the big changes quickly about the Road Traffic Act?
It's Section 19 of the Road Traffic Act. Hopefully early next year, because it's been put off since 2016, I believe, due to different government initiatives being cancelled. It's more about face-to-face delivery. So at the moment, we do 40 hours face-to-face blue light training. Following the new Section 19 implications, it's going to actually double, which has got a huge impact on our instructors. So rather than doing a week's blue light training, we're having to do 2 weeks. So it's literally doubling our instructor commitments on those courses. More time for our students, obviously, to have driving either cars or appliances. under blue light conditions, but the impact on instructors and the establishment is huge.
And of course, training does benefit all employees, you know.
Yes.
It does, yeah. Any other member? No? Okay, thank you. If you could go on to the update on pathways then, Andrew Jones. Oh, could we have a mover and seconder on that? Move, second. Second? Could somebody second that report, please?
Yeah,
Yes, Chair, Dilwar here.
Thank you. Item 7, update on pathways, Andrew.
Yes, thank you, Chair. You'll be aware, members, that we've been mentioning pathways, personal reviews, etc. in the last 12 to 18 months. Pathways will be introduced early next year. Pathways is in essence a path that it states for individuals to develop within their existing role and to prepare themselves for higher roles, and this is across the board, whether it's corporate members of staff, uniformed, fire control. It's in essence concentrate on the soft skills, the managerial skills, rather than the competence-based training, which is undertaken by Sean's team down in Cardiff Gate. These are the soft skills, having difficult conversations, leading teams, etc. And the early aspects of pathways that we are going to introduce are at supervisory level. So this is for individuals who are firefighters today, who want to be supervisory managers, crew managers, watch managers in the next 12 to 18 months. We will put them on a pathway of development so that rather than promote individuals into a role and then develop them in role, we're going to develop individuals so the minute they hit the ground running, if you like, on day one of their higher role, they're going to be better prepared, if you like. So it's something we've been looking at for some time. It's quite a significant project, given the logistics involved and the number of individuals. We'll have hundreds of firefighters who will wish to become supervisory leaders. So there's a lot of resource that has to go in behind it, and that's why we've been talking about it for about 12 months or so. But certainly early next year, it'll start to come to fruition at supervisory level. We're looking at a blended approach. The programme that we're going to put individuals on, so certainly at supervisory, is about 8 days per year. Now, to take 8 days, take individuals off station or out of their departments for 8 days per year could have significant impact on our ability to run the service on a day-to-day basis. So we're looking at a blended approach whereby there's online training, etc. There's e-learning that individuals can do at their station or in their departments, and then there's classroom-based training. So we're looking at a blended approach there to have as little impact as we can, as we will on operational capability. And certainly we're looking at the resources. The NFCC, the National Fire Chiefs Council, has done a lot of work under their L&D forum, and there are thousands of online resources that we're able to dip into. So rather than buying these programs, courses, if you like, from the private market, we've actually got it in-house, and it's fire service centric and specific as well, which will help us. There's a lot of rich info from a training needs analysis that we undertook in the last 12 months. There's the NFCC leadership framework, and there's also the investors and feedback. So we're not just rolling out a program of learning that we think individuals will want. We've actually looked, and we've had some rich info from these areas to actually make sure that our pathways program is focused where it needs to be and where the gaps exist at the moment. We've taken a collaborative approach, working with other departments within the service, and there is a keenness in the workforce at the moment. This pathways will, in essence, remove the ADCs, the assessment development centres that we've run over a number of years now, and pathways, as I say, is more preparing people for the next role rather than looking at their potential and then develop them within roles. So there's an essential difference there in our approach. Pathways, the way it will work in essence is individuals will have their personal reviews, which we've spoken about previously, and during those personal reviews there will be a discussion around what your aspirations are for the next 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, etc. If someone says, I want to be a crew manager within the next 2 years, They will then be put on a pathway. We will look at the development they've undertaken to date. We'll identify where the gaps are, and they are the courses, programs that they will subsequently be put on to ensure that they are fully equipped for that next role. And this applies across the board, as I said earlier, with corporate staff, fire control, as well as our uniformed personnel. The benefits, as it states there in 2.3, is that employees understand the services investing in them and their future careers in the service. We are training them prior to entering their role, and this will enable our employees to reach their full potential, whether they want to remain at firefighter level or they want to be a chief fire officer within 20 years. The pathways will account for that. And having well-educated and developed leaders going forward can only be better for our communities and the service that we provide to the communities. So this is quite an exciting piece of work. It's a significant step change in the way in which we develop staff. We've taken advantage of modern technology and that there's some online development as well. And as I say, I think we'll be making our leaders fit for the future. And in essence, as I say, benefits to our communities accordingly. That's pretty much it, Chair.
Thank you. It does give everyone the opportunities for the future. Is there any other member want to say anything else?
Can I? I think this sounds like a really good approach, and it's a good piece of work that's being done. Is there any, in terms of developing future leaders, and so people will be progressing to different levels? Is there any mentoring scheme for? There
is. We've in the next report, funny enough, the strategic quality plan, we have launched the mentoring and coaching scheme in the last 12 months as well. So yes, that's there as well. So we're not just saying get on with it. We are there to mentor and coach people accordingly as well.
Which is very powerful for experienced people to be able, for inexperienced people at the challenging point where you've moved up a rung to be talking to.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we've been coaching and mentoring for some years now, but in a very much informal capacity. But in the last 12 months, we've launched the scheme. We've got individuals who are trained up, level 5 coaching, mentoring course as well. So yeah, that dovetails neatly in with the launch of Pathways as well, because as you say, there's nothing quite like speaking to someone who's been in that role. So actually direct you. So yes, there's a neat dovetail there.
Thank you.
Any other member?
Yeah, I was just going to say, when I read this first of all, Pathways, I thought, well, what the hell is Pathways? But as I see it, it's a posh name for moving up the ladder.
It is in essence. Yeah. It is in essence.
You might not be able to know this one, but how does the training in this modern day and age compare, say, 2022 compared to the 1950s? I should imagine it's the same as building control. There's those far-off days. If there was a good bricklayer or a carpenter working for the local authority area, sitting jail, became a building inspector.
Yeah.
But now, building control is so vast. I should imagine the same with the fire service.
Same with ourselves. I think when I joined the fire service some time ago now, I couldn't first get my head around as to how complex an organisation is. Prior to joining the service, my idea was, you've got red trucks behind those doors, and if the bells go down, they come out, and that was it.
Brass helmets on a hatch.
Brass helmets, and that was it. And it's only when you get involved in the organisation and you see the range of work that training undertake, you realise how much training there is involved in keeping our people competent and safe.
So what it comes down to, fire prevention is far better than running around putting guys at risk, putting it out.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've taken the prevention rather than cure over the last 15 to 20 years, and there's been a reduction in operational incidents as a result of that. So prevention has got to be better, hasn't it?
Thank you.
That's my support anyway.
Thank you, Councillor Norton. You want to?
Yeah, obviously you already half answered my question around obviously each obviously employee were able to have obviously a yearly review and go on that pathway. But I presume obviously courses are limited and resources are limited. So obviously when it comes to obviously mentoring and putting extra support in individuals for the next promotion, how are they selected? Obviously, before obviously the interview process goes through, because you mentioned earlier on it could be an 18-month period. So I just wondered, is that open to everyone who would want to be the next rank up, or is that particularly more limited to certain people which you think are more likely to be qualified?
I think transparency is key here, in that all individuals need to understand that if they wish to reach their potential within 18 months or 18 years, then that option is available to them. We are, councillor, trying to manage aspirations. You're right in saying there is limited resources in terms of classroom training, etc. And that's why we're taking the blended approach. But we are mindful that individuals will undertake their pathway at different times. So perhaps if I can explain it in this way, we would run an assessment development centre once every 2 years, and everybody would have to work towards that assessment development centre, whereby at the end of a pathway, once you've completed your portfolio, attended the courses, completed assessments, tests, etc., you come forward at that time. So rather than waiting for that big bang every 2 years, we will actually say, right, we've got half a dozen individuals who have recently completed their portfolios. Let's interview them and see if they are ready for the next level. So we can be more flexible, if you like, in the actual promotion processes, and we can run more of them, because the individual, there's almost a self-service aspect here. The individual is developing themselves. So once the portfolio is complete, the interview really should just be ratifying what they've learned from undertaking their pathway journey, and for the panel to ideally say, right, you are now ready. So there'll be more of a trickle approach, if you like, rather than a big bang ADC once every 2 years.
Okay,
I ask another question? All this is undertaken within the South Wales Fire Services, so there's no need for anybody to go to Bolton in the Marsh or something like that?
No. We're using the resources of NFCC, which are quite ample. We were surprised at how much they've done in this sense, so it will save us a lot of work in-house. But we haven't got to go outside of the organisation. We can develop all of our future leaders in-house.
Do any other fire service come to South Wales? What do you think would be the best?
Certainly in learning and development, I'm sure they come down to Cardiff Gate from time to time, but we currently run courses. I went on the Pioneer course, which if you want to become a strategic leader, you did the Pioneer. There's a middle leader course, and there's a supervisory leadership development course as well that runs in parallel to Pathways. Their courses, when I went on it, we dovetailed in with the University of South Wales. And we set it up, we facilitated it, and we had representatives from Mid and West Wales and North Wales on those courses. They came down and stayed down here overnight for those courses. So there's an element of leadership there for ourselves as a service. We have perhaps the resources that the other two don't. And I dare say they'll be casting an eye our way when we tell them exactly what we're doing in terms of pathway. So I would think there will be some interest from the other two services.
okay, thank you.
But I would want to make it clear that we are intent on developing our own leaders first and foremost before we're able to share any resources we may have with other services.
Okay, thank you. If we could just note that report then, and if we could go on to the next one, which is what has been referred to, the strategic equality plan. Andrew?
Yeah, certainly, Chair. I will pick this up. This is the strategic equality plan that all public sector organisations have a duty to draft and work to a 5-year strategic equality plan. Ours is 2020 to 2025. There's been a change in. I'm presenting this paper that ideally Carrie would. You'll recall Carrie with the strong American accent who was presented you previously. Left the organisation several months ago, so we're awaiting a new appointment in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. So there's been a little lull, if you like, but we are maintaining our obligation to prepare and to present to you this annual review. So this is year 2 of the 5-year plan. The strategic equality plan, we highlighted five equality outcomes in that plan. We need to prepare a report, which is what this does, to indicate how we as a service are progressing towards those 5 outcomes. So we're recording it on BMIS, our business management information system, that more and more of our work is tying into. And if we have a look at Appendix 1 there, page 4 of that actually indicates the sunburst, which indicates to ourselves how we are how we're performing against those equality outcomes. Now, even though 2 of those large segments are red, for those of you that have a greater knowledge of our BMS, you'll see that if one of the segments on the outside is red, then that inner segment, the last one, defaults to red. But looking at it there are only 3 in red. There are the majority of in amber, which are work that is completed or work that's in progress. Okay, so that's amber and green. So what I've done here is under each outcome, you'll see the first one there, ensure underrepresented groups, marginalised communities are involved at the outset of design and delivery of our services. And we just indicated what we are going to be doing in the year 2022-23, and then what we have done during the year of this report, which is last year 2021-22. And I've just highlighted for each outcome. So number 1, if you like, and then if you flip over, we've got 2A and 2B, which we've combined for the purpose of this report, because it is becoming an employer that all communities can see themselves being part of, and also being a place of work where all employees feel valued. There's a natural synergy between those two outcomes. So we just reported on those there. And then if you flip over, then the same, carrying out our legal duties and improving the infrastructure to support a 21st century inclusive employer. So we have a duty to report on this. This will be uploaded onto our website. It has to be uploaded by the end of March, but we'll upload it prior to that. And I'll make sure that it's jazzed up by our media team, so it doesn't look quite as bland as it looks here. But that's the year 2 review of the strategic equality plan. As I say, year 2 of 5.
Well, we are heading in the right direction, it appears from this report. Any member? No? Could we note this report then? Thank you. If we could go on to the forward work programme. Any questions on that? No, are we happy with that? No comments from an officer? No?
Just to advise members that there's one report that has been deferred from this meeting into the February meeting, and although we've had a very quick and succinct meeting today, I think we need to prepare for February because there's 11 papers on that meeting. Yeah. So we'll definitely be doing our work that day.
Thank you. Any items that I feel I should mention? And there is actually one, and that is to congratulate all the area groups of fire personnel that put on firework displays over the last weekend. I know the one, and I would like a big thank you to go to them, the one between Gilfach Goch and Tonrefer, put on by the Gilfach Goch branch, was exceptional. There was over 4,000 people. There was free beef burgers. The displays were out of this world, and I would like a huge thank you sent to them.
Okay.
Okay, and to any other fire station. I believe Treorchy done one.
Treorchy did one, yeah. That was great. I don't think my dog agreed it was great, but it was great.
Yeah.
Agree with the dog.
So all the stations that did put on displays, I would like letters of appreciation and thank you, because some of these communities obviously just couldn't afford to go out and buy fireworks, you know, this year because the cost of living problems, and I think it was a welcome relief, you know, that they put them on. So, anything else? No? Thank you, everybody. Take a deep breath for February.
Thank you, Chair.